Challenge is to be quiet. Challenge is to not draw attention to ourselves. Listen, there's quite a bit of activity, but the more noise we make, because there's a lot of us, the less they're going to vocalize. This is an experience. What I promise is a moment that you're going to be with nature in a new way. Drama is what gets in the way of listening. And when we are really listening, you can hear everything. It's 1980. A small town, Lamoni, Iowa. About 1,500 people when I walked into the high school library. An enrollment of about 100 people. I think our class was, 27, 28. And on a rolling bookshelf next to the librarian's desk was a brand new book. Had never been opened and had 3 grosbeaks. Cardinal was a grosbeak. Had 3 grosbeaks on the cover, and I opened that book, and it took me back to Cub Scouts and that silly merit badge for birding. And I had forgotten all the birds, and I couldn't believe the number of species and the shapes and the sizes and the colors. And you looked at the maps, and they were all freaking right there around me. And I couldn't understand, why was I not seeing these birds? And that was my moment right then. And it's brought me here to you. Birding for me is about the chase. It's about hoarding. It's about hoarding species. It's about hoarding moments like this. And it's about listening and just being quiet. There are about 10,000 species of birds in this world. About 900 of them can be seen in North America. And about half of those can be seen here in Wyoming. Not all the time. Sometimes they're here only during the summer, which a lot of them have gone. Sometimes they're here only during the winter. Sometimes they're just passing through. That's one of the beauties of thinking just about the fact that if you think about a bird, and that's for some reason, somehow, you are destined to meet up with a particular bird. And that's your bird. Oh, man. So, I want to tell you the difference between the different vocalizations. There are calls, which are just short, monotonous, and dry chips. And they signal flight, they can signal danger. They can just be birds talking to one another. And that's a lot of what we're going to hear this morning because we're approaching winter. There's songs, which are vocalizations of many different phrases, lots of different notes. Some birds have really boring, dry, sad songs. Some birds have repertoire of thousands of phrases. And then there are scolding And a scolding's a lot like a pish. Psh, psh, psh. And that's what they do when they're pissed. They don't want you around. They want other people to know that you're around. So what I want us to do is I want us to close our eyes and just start to really be with ourselves and forget what has happened. And just start to listen and hear where you're hearing them. I want you to think about the quality, maybe what's going on with them. Why are they vocalizing? Where are they? Are they on the ground, in the air? I want you to have fun with this. This is a game. See how many different individuals, species, we don't have to name them, but see how many that you can find. Just number them. But I want you to think about just your path and their path while you're doing it. Be cognizant of the noise that you're making. Be respectful of everyone around you. But really stretch. Just don't listen to the spotted towhee right next to you. Listen past it, and if you have to, cup your ears. Put your hand to your ear and point in whatever direction. It really helps you hear in that particular direction. Okay? So you got 20 minutes to find as many as you can. Okay? And not piss off your neighbors by being too loud. You can sit down, you can walk, you can go over that bridge, and behind us there's a little pagoda down behind us, which has room for a couple of people, and just sit and listen. Just listen and be quiet. 20 minutes. If you're not here, I'll bang 2 rocks together. Okay? Okay. A lot of birds were named because of the sound that they make. So up on the hill behind us, there's a chickadee. Anybody hear the chickadee? The chickadee-dee-dee? Did anybody hear the rattle go directly over? It was just coming right over, and all it was just a rattle, just like a kid's rattle. Nobody heard that? It was 50 feet above us, and it was very loud. And it was a ringed kingfisher, which I was not expecting to hear that. I'm sorry, belted kingfisher. And it was just moving from one body of water to the next. Tell me, how many different vocalizations?
I counted 18.
18?
But they might have been some of the same birds.
It's okay. It's okay. That's good. Yeah.
I counted 27, but I think I might have duplicated as well. I was like, really?
I counted.
That's very possible.
5.
5?
5, sorry. 21. But I can make all the noises.
Yeah. Make one.
Well, there's one that I think it sounded like a gun, like. And then there was 2 talking back and forth, like. And then I think that I pissed one off because I don't know if it was a snake or a...
Was it down here?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was actually a blackbird. It was a brewer's blackbird. The two birds that you heard calling back and forth, did you hear the mew? So it was a really raspy sort of a cat call, mew. So that's a spotted towhee. And there was one over here and one over here. What about the croak of the raven? Did you hear the croak of the raven? Where was that? Tell me where that was.
Over here.
That's exactly right. It was over here. Yeah. Yeah, good. There were a lot of robins. What about the small flock that flew over? Did anybody see the small flock? Those were American goldfinch.
Oh, they had pretty sound, right?
Yeah.
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 There was one in the tree over here.
Yeah.
I heard one that really stood out to me. It was like, do-do-do, do-do-do.
Yes, yes.
And
I
it
heard
like
the same
reminded
one.
me of childhood.
Oh my god, Robin, we're like on the same wavelength right now. So that bird reminds me of like going back to school.
Yes.
Because I would stand out at the bus stop and I'd hear.
Exactly.
So that reminds me of like getting up early in the morning, being cold, standing at the bus stop.
You're like, I'm 6 again.
Yeah, like fall time because school is starting back up and it's kind of like happy, but it's like school again. So it's like that reminds me of.
So that's interesting because that is also a chickadee.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So that the titmice, it's in the titmouse family.
And they're in New York, right?
Yes.
I was trying to figure out, are they warning each other and then there'd be like noise and then get quiet? And I'm like, are they like, do they have each other's backs? You know? That's kind of how it felt. It felt really kind of cool. And, you know, I have all my backyard birds, so I'm always, the northern birds, pretty familiar with them, but I don't usually sit with my eyes closed. So sitting with my eyes closed, it was similar to you, but I started thinking, I kept wanting to open my eyes and see, and then I couldn't, and I was getting frustrated because I wanted to see what was making the noise. And then I was like, well, I have the gift of hearing and sight, and I was really thankful for that.
It's interesting you say that because back in the day in 1980, we did not have the internet or any of the communication, right? And so all we had were these, where some scientist, ornithologist somewhere had taken the recordings of birds and had put them in sort of this, is it an oscilloscope? What do you call that when it's not an oscilloscope?
Records it and it goes like that.
Yeah, and it shows you the rise and fall. That's all we had.
Wow.
I don't ever just sit and like listen to it. And it seemed so quiet out here until we quieted. And then it's like the symphony started.
It did
So-
take a little bit for all of us to get still, for them to get active again.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
The tee up was really cool for me when he said that half of the North American birds can be found here in Wyoming. I didn't know that. And I thought, well, how perfect that we would be in a place that has half of them, you know, so then I felt like everything was so perfect. And then when he said, when the drama stops, you can hear everything, you know, so then I just kind of went inward, and then I sort of had a similar experience of you, where to me I was hearing music. I mean, and I had to like kind of like try to distinguish the different instruments.
My memento is really being here with you and sharing all of it with you. Yeah. I've heard all these guys before. I want to hear really quick from you how you will take this experience into your coaching.
Yeah, that's good.
Again, the layers of listening, the depth. You have to hear beyond the first loudest layer. What's behind it?
A reminder that so much is happening at once,
Yeah.
and to really be still
Yeah.
and slow it down.
Yeah.
And all of what's happening at once doesn't need to be tackled at once.
Yeah.
I got that too. Thank you.
Nicole?
Just the possibility of what's available to us as coaches, like where we can go for a session. Doesn't have to just be in an office or, you know, like what's in your backyard. like a coaching session can happen anywhere, and there's a lot available to us just within nature and getting creative with where our sessions take place and what our clients could potentially get out of just being our backyard. Could switch everything for them as opposed to being inside.
Yeah.
For me, it was really about acknowledging and appreciating the differences in our clients, and really respecting what's important to them and being with that, and just remembering and, staying so humble that it's never about us, and just that was kind of the takeaway for me.
Yeah, it was about very similar, getting outside of myself and really just listening and being, and getting out of my head and just being still.
Yeah.
All of the above. What I even got out of this is that what I'm up to is having a space for people to come and retreat and have coaching, but have stillness, have art, have music, have time to be, to connect with the ground, for them to be able to open their heart so that they can hear themselves.
Good.
It's just more confirmation how much art is a part of me and like how much it can demonstrate what's happening around us and how it connects us all. And even if people don't see it the way I see it, it's still there. They just have to find it, just like listening to the birds. Like they just have to find the color and find their creativity.
As I focused on the listening, going, I have no idea whether they're talking to each other or whether they're busy or if I'm listening. I mean, I just had no idea. As I got into that, I don't know, what started to happen is I started to see specific flowers and rocks, and then my seeing got really distinct. And so I just noticed that as I focused on my hearing but didn't make up a story about it because I really don't know anything about birds, every other sense got really loud. So it just kind of felt like I kind of awakened. So maybe for coaching, putting into homework much more integration work around the senses.
For me, it's just the different quality of the vocalizations and being able to hear the difference, even with the spotted towhee, even in that mew, that raspy mew call, it was always somewhat a little bit different, and each individual is just a little bit different. And being able to hear that inflection and that change within that one bird and that one call, it's pretty amazing. And I think that is something that I've tried to do with y'all when I've been coaching, is just to hear when your voice is louder or when it's softer. And it's helped me sort of understand at times where you're going.